Hey everybody, welcome to Neil Talks. My name's Neil and it's time to talk person of interest. I'm really digging this show so far, guys. I like the person of interest of the week vibe so far. Totally expected for a network procedural show. We just need to get into the rhythm. We need to build an audience before we start diving into some lore, some backstory, some through line plot. But we aren't ignoring that stuff either yet. We're sprinkling in some information. We're flashing back. We're getting some history about the development of the machine and Reese's and Finch's personal histories. We're learning more about them and what brought them to where they are in the current timeline. So I'm liking the way we're laying the groundwork for the show right now. And we are definitely still doing that. It's early days. But one of the things we introduced last episode, which I thought really interesting, is we're sort of leaning into the vigilante nature of these operations. And this isn't just about bringing people to legal justice or saving people, but it's also imposing our character's own sense of justice on the situation. Technically, what Linda Cardellini was doing last episode was very much illegal. And yet we sympathize, we empathize, we understand why she's doing it, and we let her get away with it. We let her, first of all, we save her from herself by talking her out of killing the man she wants to kill. But we don't turn her into the cops. We don't do anything along those lines. We give her a second chance because we understand where she's coming from. And we don't show what Reese does with her intended victim, but I think we can assume that that guy's not living anymore. Reese has zero qualms about killing the wrong people, the bad guys out there. But we're at that place now where there is a subjective justice to this show, and I think that's kind of interesting. I wonder how dark that might get as the show progresses. I'm also curious about whether we're going to see Linda Cardellini again. Personally, I'm a huge fan of her and her work, and it would be great to have a medical ally that we can turn to at moments of need during this show. Not unlike a Rosario Dawson in Daredevil kind of thing. But if we don't get any more Linda Cardellini, this at least tells me that we might get some really interesting guest stars as the story progresses. We have a very small cast on this show. We have Finch and Reese, we've got Carter and Fusco, and that's it. Except in our flashbacks, we have a couple of extra recurring characters there. But modern day, those are our four characters. We have a whole new mystery, a whole new person of interest every episode, and so we introduce a whole new cast of characters every episode. So there's an opportunity for some really fun guest star chances. So it'll be curious to see whether we get some other big names as the series progresses. But I have no idea what this next episode's about. It might have to do with this subjective justice that we were just talking about, because this one's called Judgement. So let's jump into it, guys. Episode 5, Season 1, Person of Interest.
They wouldn't act, so I decided I would. But I needed a partner. Someone with the skills to intervene.
I kind of miss shows
by the authorities
that had intros like this, where we basically spell out the whole premise.
But victim or perpetrator
in the opening credits.
We'll find you.
Ouch. Hit and run.
What's good here?
That won't work, Mr. Reeves.
What won't?
Your interrogation technique. You're trying to determine whether I come here often. Armed with that knowledge, you'll try to figure out where I live.
You're paranoid, Finch.
With good reason. Enjoy your meal, Mr. Reese.
Samuel Gates.
Law degree from NYU.
He lives on the Upper West Side with his son, Sam.
Where's the wife?
Diagnosed with an inoperable brain tumor last April. By November, she was gone.
So the son is all he has left.
Oh, don't forget your lunch.
Oh, is this what's his name from Breaking
What do we
Bad?
know about the nanny?
Christina Rojas.
Gale?
Gates
that his
hired
name?
her when his wife fell ill.
The kid sure likes her. Where's his office?
Criminal Court City of New York.
This is direct evidence
Oh, he's a
properly
judge.
obtained.
So odds are he's the victim, not the perpetrator.
Judges get plenty of death threats.
If video of the actual crime is unfairly prejudicial, I think we might have to give up on the
hidden camera.
entire concept of trial by jury.
I've identified 6 possible suspects.
Any of them white guys with crew cuts?
Not that I'm aware of.
We're about to kidnap a judge. Oh, that woman stumbling in the background, that was the thing. Oh, they're gonna kidnap the son.
Samuel Gates Jr.
I think we've been following the wrong Sam Gates.
Christina, you're not gonna believe
Well, that seems weird because it's all based on Social Security. Jeez. Okay. Presumably that's a trank gun because... Or did we just graze them?
I can't be there in time if I'm getting bad information.
The machine did not send us the wrong number. If it says that Judge Gates is in danger, then he is.
Is this going to be one of those twists where
Judge Gates,
he's actually an evil man somehow?
what's wrong?
He's fine, Your Honor. For now.
Oh, God.
Let's figure out how we get your son back.
You're one of them.
No, I tried to stop them. But the kidnappers made contact. That's good. That means they want to negotiate.
Who the hell are you?
You have 2 questions right now. Who are you, and where's my son? Which one do you want to focus on?
Still super weird and suspicious if you're in the judge's position.
Setting surveillance on your street. It's our best shot at ID in the
You're a
kidnappers.
judge. Why not go to the cops? They'd be all over this.
They said no cops, no FBI.
They didn't say anything about me.
Just because they say no cops doesn't mean you don't go to the cops.
We don't need a judge asking questions about who we are and what we do.
I can't work a kidnapping from arm's length. I'll worry about Gates once we get Sam back.
I'll figure it out.
I'll figure it out quick. The kidnappers killed the nanny.
Okay, so the nanny's not in on it. Don't go digging in her files. You're not suspicious at all, Fusco.
Detective?
Detective.
Carter. Is she getting close?
All I know right now is you pissed off real police, my friend. Child abduction. Is that what we're dealing with?
We?
You're still a missing kid. Hey, whatever else I've done, I'm still a cop. You need some help, you let me know.
I just found our guy.
Is he talking?
Not at the moment. Hold on.
Russian?
I know as Sam Finch. Nasty street gang from Eastern Europe. Guns for heroin. But they also run kidnappings in Warsaw.
Polish.
Looks
Okay.
like they just opened up a new branch in New York.
So if your guy wasn't the shooter, what was he doing here?
She wasn't here when he came home from school, so he called me. I came home to be with him. He's upstairs playing now.
That's weird to say.
Thanks for your time, Judge.
She was just a kid.
Is this just a straight kidnapping, or is this more related to his job?
As long as they need him, Sam.
Is it just because he's
alive.
rich?
You don't know that.
Have you ever heard of a gang called SP9?
No.
That's them now.
Fortunately for you, we don't want your money.
Yeah.
We want your help. Angela Markham walks, or your son dies.
Who's Angela Markham?
She mowed down some guy in a parking garage.
Oh, of course.
It's a simple hit and run.
Well, now she's become the key to finding your son.
Maybe that hit and run wasn't so accidental.
The trial resumes in 30 minutes. What do I do?
Just stall. Make it look like you're
Cooperating.
cooperating. But buy me time.
Should have dug the slugs out, huh?
Just the one. And I'm not so sure that was the shooter.
Ballistics report, detective.
Squad, your slug's not in the system, but I'm pretty sure the Carter's working your crime scene. I mean, if I can ID the nanny killer, it might help you with the kid. Am I wrong?
Keep me posted and keep Carter out of my way.
In the matter of the people versus Angela Markham, court is now in session.
Is it as simple as she's dating one of them, or is there something else going on here? Is this just... Are we just doing donuts to piss this guy off?
How's the ride back there?
Who's Angela Markham and what does she have to do with SB9?
Never heard of her. Look, I don't know why they wanted that kid. AKA Krakow, Sops, Zion.
This guy's caving.
It's 3185 Larimer. It's where I go to get paid.
And what did you see when you approached the car?
Blood. On the front left fender.
Objection. Facts not in evidence.
Sustained.
The defendant got out of the vehicle. She appeared to be intoxicated.
Objection.
Sustained.
Your Honor.
Counselor, I'm going to give you some time to better prepare your witness.
That seems uber suspicious. None of that seemed like weird testimony. Isn't that what cops are precisely asked to deliver all the time in court?
So you don't want your son back, is that it?
I have to do this right, or the DA can appeal. You want her free. I have to make sure she stays that way.
Yeah, I mean, like, you can't just go in and say, I throw this case out.
Our whole operation is in jeopardy because you had too many shots.
And unless you know someone who can do what I do, our deal stands.
Once you get the charges dropped, I go back to work.
What does she do again? She's not just dating one of them. She's working for them in a high-level position. Or with them. Providing some sort of service. Money laundering or something? I don't know.
Where's the boy?
I don't know!
Alright. Lots of money to be laundered.
I am missing 2 men and $500,000. Someone is making a move against us. I need to know who.
John Wick is.
Could be our bargaining chip to get Sam.
There may be lots more where these came from. Angela's not sleeping with our kidnapper.
Need to hold off a little longer.
You've had your chance. I'm not playing games with my son's life.
They'll kill you both as soon as they get what they want. You just have to trust me.
Upon further review, I'm reversing my decision on admissibility.
Your Honor.
This video would unfairly bias the jury against Miss Markham.
Then I move for a mistrial.
Denied.
Judge Cates.
Approach. One more word and you are in contempt. I'll have you charged with misconduct if I have to. Trust me, Miss Ramirez, you have no idea how far I'll go.
I feel like there's got to be a way to have done this without being so sus, but desperate measures and all.
The hospital would be nice about now. Where's the boy?
I already told you, I don't know.
How about your boss's name? You know that yet? Get your boss's name.
It's up!
Come here, I think I got something. White guy, long hair, pulling off gloves. He could be our killer.
Or just a guy with cold hands. What makes you so sure Mr. Longhair is our man?
I got a hunch. I ran his plate to get a name, but I got a company instead. Coalfield Holdings.
Every morning at 5 a.m., Angela shuts down one state software for 3 minutes. Millions of dollars flow in undetected. SB9's not just laundering their own money. They have hundreds of clients.
Try Coalfield. That's them. Get a list. The place they're holding Sam will be on it.
Has the jury reached a verdict?
We have, Your Honor.
I always find it interesting when, the judge instructs the jury to, like, disregard this thing that we just showed you. It's like, how can you...
What say you?
...come to a decision ignoring something that you've obviously witnessed?
Defendant not guilty on all charges.
Come alone. No cell, no GPS, no weapons. If I see anyone who's not you, your son dies.
We need to warn him.
I've tried. He won't listen.
But we have to do something.
We are. Hello, Angela.
Sucks when it rains.
I want to see my son.
Dad!
Sam! No!
I'll let you say goodbye.
Stop!
Your name is Yara Koska. Every last dime has been transferred to an offshore account. Do exactly what I say, and you might get it back. But if they don't walk out of here alive, every client on your list will be notified that you lost all their money. And I won't have to kill you.
Shoot them all.
These are bad mobsters.
And take him home.
Well, enough to prosecute Angela on something bigger than hit and run. Although it's white collar, so she'd probably only get like 18 months at a minimum security.
NYPD, anybody home?
Dead gangster, probably. Oh, no. They lived.
I don't know how to thank you.
You don't need to say anything. I'd prefer it, actually.
When they find out. There won't be anything I can do to protect you.
Go play with your son.
What's good?
What did he say?
That we don't need to worry. Thank you
I beg your pardon?
for giving me a job.
He's finding reward in it.
Try the Eggs Benedict, Mr. Reese. I've had them many times.
Marginally more trusting. No new case. Okay. Just a menu.
Stay tuned for scenes from our next episode.
No more next episodes. I dig it. This was just an all-around feel-good episode. And I'm cool with that. I like... Here's a couple of things that I especially like. I like that Fusco's essentially a good guy. Yeah, he fell in with some dirty cops, but as we said back in the pilot, more out of a misplaced sense of loyalty than anything more sinister. He's an ally of Finch and Reese. Well, I mean, he doesn't even know about Finch, but he's an ally of Reese because, like, he's partnered with Carter to keep her attention off of Reese. But he's not doing that by messing up her cases. He's just focusing more on pursuing the bad guy that Reese is also after. So let's not focus on the mysterious man who called 911. Let's find the real killer. This guy I've got a hunch about in this surveillance camera shot. So we end up, and he actually ends up, his investigation with Carter ends up providing important info to Reese in his search for the kid. So we can feel good about all our main players. They're all ultimately on the right side. They're all good guys. They're all on the side of justice, even if we pursue that justice in very different ways. I almost feel like I need to keep account of how many people get shot in the leg on this show. I had, for those of you who don't know, while I was an assistant director in the TV industry here in Vancouver, I worked on Arrow for the better part of 4 years. And one of the things we often joked about on that show is the number of people that got shot with arrows, but always non-lethally. We almost never killed. And I feel like Reese is a little bit like that. He's very good at hitting people in non-lethal spots. He's also very good at getting shot in the shoulder and just being like totally fine with it an hour or two later. No sign of ill effects at all. But this is network television. This is network approved levels of violence and gritty realism. You know, this has to appeal to as broad an audience as possible. So I get that you gloss over some of that stuff that we might not gloss over in more premium cable type shows, streaming service type shows. I like that Finch is getting comfortable with Reese learning a little bit more about him, at least that he is a regular at this diner, if nothing else. Eventually, they're forming a bond, they're forming a level of trust. Understandably, that's going to take a little bit of time. I'm cool with that. I like that not every episode is a twist. Like we could have found out that our judge was dirty, or that there was some other more. I mean, the level of twist in this episode was pretty basic. That this Angela Markham, like, what's her connection to this particular gang? She's the source of a vast amount of their money because she facilitates their money laundering. Straightforward, but she's just as bad as them. Self-contained episode, I'm cool with that. A show like this, early in its run, needs to build up an audience. You have to have an episode that's geared as much to the first-time viewer as somebody who's been here since the pilot. It's not a huge difference at this point. You're still heavily promoting the show. You're trying to draw new eyeballs. No idea what this show was up against in its time slot, but you're always trying to steal an audience. And yeah, I'm excited for more. It's just a really fun show at this point, and we are getting some really interesting guest actors. I'm blanking on the name of the guy that played the judge, but he's one of these really interesting character actors. He's instantly spottable because he's got such a unique manner about him. Sort of this soft-spoken but really intelligent, but not nerdy. Just, I mean, like, he's certainly nerdy in Breaking Bad, but here he's just sort of very meek, but not comically so. He's just yeah. I enjoy him in everything he does. He brings interesting characterization and emotion to every role I've seen him in. And he's one of those guys where like I said, you instantly recognize him, especially if you're a fan of, Breaking Bad, that sort of thing. I think this is the first episode where we didn't get flashbacks, where we didn't learn more about our lead's past. But we spent some good time with Fusco and Carter. That brand new partnership. Let's see how that all works out. Let's see if they start to develop some trust as well. Carter's entering with some suspicion. She's heard some stuff about Fusco's old precinct, justifiably so. There were a bunch of dirty cops out of there, and one of them at least has gone missing because we know Reese took care of him. But yeah, let's see how these two partnerships continue to evolve. I'm really excited for more of this show. Can't wait till next week. And until then, everybody, take care, stay healthy. We'll see you soon. Cheers.